Friends, Doc South here with creativity lesson number one. hmm I mean, besides the usual stuff like knowing how to write and spell and or how to paint or you know how to work a chisel. The one thing you definitely got to do, and anyone who creates, you've got to have a special pocket. Okay, it's your trigger pocket. I usually on the left cheek of my rear end, and I always wear blue jeans, so I always got a pocket there, and I put this in that pocket. Yes, just some old scrap paper. This is some flyer from some car show that, well, they gave me too many flyers. I gave out what I could, and then the rest I tore into neat, handy dandy little squares. Come up with an idea, and bingo. Like say say I'm riding behind a big line of motorcycles, obviously belonging, and all the people on those motorcycles, those motorcycles, of course, belong to them, and they're all some biker gang. Okay, and I'm on a city street behind them. There may be 50 of them in front of me. And then what happens? They go to make a right-hand turn. I have to make the right-hand turn. And for some reason, at that moment, my horn decides to get stuck. Yeah, on the on position. So there I am as a bunch of perfectly decent bikers are turning into an angry mob, looking over their shoulder at me. And there's nothing I can do. Yeah, it's one of life's great moments. You got to write that down, especially if those guys get off the bikes and start coming your way. Luckily, in my case, they didn't. A few birds were flipped, not by me, and I don't blame them. They had no idea my horn was stuck. I went like this, but they just did. Well, they were riding. They couldn't necessarily just keep looking back at me. They just looked back, and like I said, many a bird was flipped. Or perhaps the time I was carrying two cases of tools down into a boiler room in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. The access to the boiler room was down some real slippery, steep steps off a sidewalk. And, well, I didn't realize it was winter. I should have realized, but there was a lot of ice on the top steps. Yep, down I went. Fell about 10 feet right on my hiney on the bottom step. I lived, as you see, but still, you got to write it down. You could forget a great moment like that. Now I've got stories to tell. Here, in fact, here, icy. All I got to do, because you'll get that. You'll say, "Oh, I got to have some story to write, or a thing to create." And what was it? What was the inspiration? And it's left you, especially if you're getting older. Yeah. Icy steps in Wilkes-Barre. Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. And you don't have to worry about spelling. Just write it down. Okay, see? Biker horn. And let's see. And icy steps in Wilkes-Barre. That's all I need. Okay, and then it'll, and later on I'll write I'll do two nice blurbs, video blurbs on that very tale. There you go. Okay, and once you've done it, scratch it out, but generally once you've done the creation, you'll remember that you did it, and you'll edit and all that stuff as time goes on. Again, my advice to you, always carry a little bit of scrap paper and a working pen. Ain't much worse to have a great idea and your pen has run out of ink. Right. Because it'll never come back. No, you say yes. No, not really. Not really. I can't think of how many of my stories, potential stories, are floating out in the ether. Okay? Yeah, I know as you get older, you get forgetful. This kind of thing happened to me when I was 19. Okay, I'm just saying. See you later, friends. Thank you. God bless.